Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to one another session for all of you from GEG Delhi NCR. We are here today to bring you some more of learnings that our teachers have discovered and also used and learned over the last 1 year. And we are here to also empower each one of you. So this is a session for you. So when you are looking at Google Educator groups, these are groups of teachers who are, or educators in general, if I may say, who are excited about using various tools in their classrooms and are ready to share it forward. So with me, I have Vibha Puri here, who is the Empower Captain of GEG Delhi NCR. And Vibha and I, we both are maths teachers. And today is a session where we have two other maths teachers who would be talking about how they have used various tools to make maths lessons interesting. But before I bring them on the screen, I think the last session that we had where we were doing, in fact, a special session where we were talking about the Google updates that were announced. Yeah. So
Yes.
what is your take on that? What are you looking forward to?
I have gotten Monday. I opened my Google Meet and I could see mute all, which is my
Oh,
personal favorite. It was very, very much needed, and I have it here. Mute all and end call for everybody. The two features which were the most talked about when we had all those Google updates coming in. So yes, those two features are here in our Google Meets. I hope all the educators who have been using Google Meet have experienced it and are liking it, because it was quite a big struggle earlier. So those two features
right.
I have seen.
Well, personally, for me, because I think we both are teaching different levels. For me, I wish I had an unmute all because my kids don't talk. So with the younger kids, I think you need a mute all, but I need an unmute all so that I can have them talking and participating. But yes, also with the update coming where I can end the meeting for all, I think we've all seen over the year there are few who just stay logged in and don't leave the meet. So that means either they've gone off to sleep or they have gone off to look for something else, in wherever they are. So it is helpful to just, clear the field for everyone in one click. And what I'm looking forward to is the Google Forms update. When you're looking at if the children are able to save the work. So some children do need a little more time. They need to come back to the form and attempt those questions again. So I'm looking forward to that update rolling in, which is actually coming in a beta form. So we have applied for it, and if we get that chance to try it out, maybe we can share more on how effective it is. Looking at the time, well, I think it's time that I bring my guests back up on the screen here. So with me today, we have Ms. Divya Kapoor and Mr. Kaushal Sen, two math educators who have been very, very active in the pandemic. As one said, the lockdown, the schools are shut, but the teaching is on. And these teachers have grown a lot in the last 1 year. They have tried different tools and techniques to make their classroom interesting. So I'm going to leave this discussion and introduction. But before that, Kaushal, welcome, and Divya, welcome to our show. And I hope that you can inspire our not only the math teachers, but all other teachers with the brilliant ideas that you have taken to your classroom and have enriched your classrooms with.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for having us. And we surely, will try our level best that we can put across whatever little knowledge we have gathered to the audiences of today.
Yeah,
I
I'm
second that.
sure.
I second that.
So over to you, Vibha. Take them forward, introduce them, and get the show going.
Right. Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. So I will not take up too much time. I'll do a very, very quick introduction of both of them. So first speaker, of course, is Miss Divya Kapoor. Welcome, ma'am. She is currently working as the headmistress in Pragyan School, Greater Noida. And she has also been a recipient of the prestigious CBSE Award 2018 for her contributions in education. And along with many, many other accolades, I have a very, very long list right here. and she has an experience of 14 years in this field, and she's been working tirelessly to create engaging ICT integrated classroom, which is the need of the hour. And when we met with her, she had a handful of such interesting ideas, and which, I mean, she got us really excited to learn more from her. So glad to have you with us today, ma'am. Looking forward to learning from you. And of course, we have Mr. Kaushal Sen. Welcome, sir. He is currently working as TGT Mathematics at Presentation Convent School. And very, very proud to share that he is a Google Certified Educator Level 1. It's always, always lovely to have somebody joining our band. And also, he is an Adobe Creative Educator and a pro at all Adobe tools. And he is also the founder of EdChat IND, which is a Twitter page which conducts regular Twitter chats. If I'm not wrong, sir, weekly Twitter chats. And we all love participating in those chats. It's so lovely to, hear from all educators across the world, hear from them, learn from them. He has provided us a very, very good platform to do that. He was one of our presenters, of course, in our GEG APAC weekends, and he gave us a wonderful tour of Nearpod. And I'm sure he'll be giving us a wonderful, both of them will be giving a wonderful, wonderful tour of all the tools they have with them today. So again, as we discussed, we'll not waste too much time. We'll get started. Over to you, Divya ma'am. Yes, please go
Well,
ahead.
thank you, Vibha, for those generous words of praise. And we also will not waste a lot of time and begin straight away with the presentation for today. So, is my presentation visible, Vibha?
All okay. Please go ahead.
Right. So today's session is all about integrating technology in a maths classroom. And, like Paul Halmos has said, that the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. All of us, all the mathematics teachers, always believe in this particular saying because we all believe that practice is something that makes us perfect in this particular subject. However, maths is also considered to be one of the mundane subjects. It is one subject which many students fear. So it is also important for us to think and ponder upon why is that happening. So that's exactly where we are going to begin our session today. This pandemic has taught us a lot of things and given us a lot of time to ponder upon a lot. So let's begin with why do our students fear mathematics? We as teachers, when we get to think of this particular thing, either the answer to us is yes, yes, so many of my students fear mathematics. We then need to think why. And if we are getting an answer as no, my students love to be in my class, then again we need to think about what so special are we doing that is giving us that particular result. So when I come to think, I find out some reasons why many students around us fear mathematics. Some of these reasons have been listed here. Reasons like lack of visualization. A lot of our students are not able to visualize what a mathematical problem is trying to say, and that is the reason why they are not being able to comprehend it. Next, definitely, is the age old chalk and talk method, which many of the teachers are not ready to let go. Following that is the rote learning and memorization, which definitely is going away with the new NEP changes coming in. But still, it is prevalent for some classrooms. Next important thing to be talking about is the learning gaps. Often it has been observed that students fear asking questions. They're always hesitant of asking questions, which leads to the learning gaps in their learning ladder, and because of which the fear settles in. Another reason might be fear of failure. They are always hesitant in trying out the problem even before they know whether they will be able to solve it. And definitely no surprise element. The class, like I said, sometimes get mundane. Teachers walk into the classroom, write solutions on the board, discuss those solutions, and walk out. No surprise element being left for the students. Well, if we have thought about so much and come out with these reasons after pondering, then what should we be doing as teachers to make mathematics classroom more interesting? I think the first thing is to prepare our own selves. So how do we prepare ourselves? Well, I have these few set of pointers that I keep in mind. Self belief. It is a teacher's belief that she will be able to give the best to her students, that she will be able to bring out the best in each of her student. That belief really goes a long way. Secondly, laying out clear objectives in front of the students. So when we enter a classroom, it is important that we tell our students what they will be able to learn at the end of each class that they are attending with us. Definitely adequate planning. Because if we are unplanned, then things often go haywire in the classroom. However, no one can predict how a class will exactly go, but still, planning does always help. Trying out new things and bringing out pedagogical changes in the classroom is also very, very important. Today, every child is different and their needs are also different. So, it is important that we set in different pedagogical methods and instructions to be able to suit our learners and the topics that we're teaching. And surely, effective communication and reflecting adequately on how a particular tool was taken up by the students in the class, whether we should be trying it out again, what improvements can we make. All of these helps a teacher to prepare well. Alongside these, like I said, the no element of surprise sometimes makes the difference. It actually puts students away from the subject. So these are some simulations that we can be introducing in our classrooms. Art as a medium of learning, introducing global dimension, taking students beyond the four walls of the classroom and actually bringing them to real life situations, interdisciplinary approach, hands on activities, and last but not the least, our theme for today, technological interventions. Over to you, Kaushal sir.
Now, as Divya ma'am talked about why students fear mathematics and what can we do about to make this fear removed from our students. So let us revisit the key elements of teaching. As ma'am said, that we require adequate planning to integrate a lot of pedagogy into our classroom. So let's revisit those elements. The first element is introduction. In the introduction part, we can include a lot of surprise element. Earlier, what we used to see in the classroom, the teachers used to come, write the topics on the board, remove the solutions, and then walk out of the classroom. Bringing a technological application into the classroom as an introduction is definitely bring surprise element into the classroom. Moving ahead to the second element is the concept building. We have now a lot of technological applications which is going to help students build their concepts and imbibe the practical application of that particular concept. The third part is the recap application, where we have Google Forms, effective form where we can understand the needs of the student, and based on that we can take up the assessments, and all this comes up into a circle. So if we know the elements of teaching, we can easily integrate the technological applications and make our classrooms much more interesting. Now, how can technology make math interesting? Some of the things that we can see are differentiated instruction. Earlier in the classroom, we used to have a limited variety, but with the increase in technological apps, we can now cater to all the different learning styles. So we have a differentiated instruction into the students' classroom. Then we have personalized learning. A lot of applications are providing personalized learning to the students. Students can learn on their own pace, and with this personalized learning, we can provide effective feedback to our students, which is only going to empower them. Along with this, the technological applications are going to help us in the effective assessments. We can see the data analysis, and based on those analysis, we can make our lesson plans much more interesting and engaging. The next part is the visualization part, which is a very important part of mathematics. Since mathematics is an abstract subject, are unable to connect with the real life concepts. So, bringing the visuals through the technological apps is definitely going to help our students visualize and make the concepts much more better to them. And the last part is student ownership. With all the benefits that the students have through these applications, they are going to take their learning much more into a fun and engaging way. With this, now we are going to diving into the world of technological apps. So today we have taken four applications, two I'll be taking and two ma'am will be taking. And based on the elements of teaching, we have taken up four tools. The first tool that we are going to explore is Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is a tool, and it is providing us three applications: Adobe Spark Post, Adobe Spark Web Page, and Adobe Spark Video. But why should we use Spark? Because it's an easy to use application. It is going to develop creativity amongst your students. It is going to provide student voice. A lot of students do not say or speak something into your classroom, but with the help of web pages, videos, or posters, the students are going to present their thinking and present their voice through these applications. And the last is building collaboration. Since we are all living in the 21st century era, and collaboration is a skill which is required very much by each individual. So Adobe Spark is going to help you with that. Now let's see what are the things we can use with this Adobe Spark. So you can create posters, you can create memes, you can create comic strips into your classroom. As mathematics teachers, we can create beautiful posters which can be taken up as starter activities. We can take up comic strips which can help us in diving deep into a discussion. With the help of video, we can create amazing presentations and step by step videos to help students understand the concept. And with the web page, we can create projects, research findings where students can analyze a problem and provide their solutions through a beautiful web page. Now, here are some of the examples which I have done in my classroom. So, this is a small poster. As you can see, it says a date with durability. Now, on one side, we have some shapes, and on the other side, we have some stationary items. Now, the students are going to be in surprise what exactly the classroom can be. So, this was taken up as part of the chapter area and surface areas. So, students were asked to create 3D models of these shapes like cylinders, cube, pyramid, and then they were asked to find out how much durable the shape is. The next example that I'm going to show here is a divisibility movie, which is part of the concept building. So with this, I created a movie, and then this movie was showcased to my students, and as part of the movie, they were thrilled to find out that divisibility rules can be taken up in this beautiful format. Do try it and share your thoughts with us on our Twitter handles. The third thing which I would like to share is the recap exercise. So I created a web page on congruence of triangles. So once the chapter was done, the congruence of triangles was showcased as form of a web page. So if you can see, if you scroll down, it has some buttons, it has some definitions, it has an activity, it has a practice quiz, which is going to help the students understand, analyze, and apply the application of congruence of triangles. So now with this, I move to my next tool, that is Google Earth. As a Google certified educator, I explored this tool, Google Earth. And why should I be voicing for this Google Earth? Because it is going to build connection and visualization skills. A lot of students do not connect with the mathematical ideas that is being taught in the classroom, but bring in Google Earth into your classroom, and there you get the connections. Along with that, the visuals of Google Earth are going to create awe in the classroom, and students will jump out of their seats because when they will see the real life mountains, rivers, jungles, pyramids, and other heritage sites popping up on their screen. And with that, if we teach the mathematical concept, it is definitely going to help them. And as ma'am said, that we will bring the surprise element. Now, how it can be used in the classroom. So you can make interdisciplinary projects. You can integrate history and mathematics. You can integrate geography and mathematics. Even you can integrate language and mathematics. So you can take up the literature parts, make the dates, and make them into operations. You can create treasure hunts, scavenger hunts, where they can find out the area, perimeter, volume, and things like that. You can have data analysis into your classrooms. And if you want to make a change into your presentations, so you can definitely create presentations with this Google Earth. So today I'm going to show two examples. The first example I've taken is from the Google Earth Library. The Google Earth Library provides a lot of ready-made lesson plans which can be taken up into the classroom. So this is a starter activity where Himeji Castle is presented, and with this concept you can teach up angles, line segments, rays, and the basic concepts, and how these basic concepts are used to build huge castles. The second example, which I would like to showcase, is an assessment exercise where five monuments of India is taken. In class 6, we teach our students unit conversion, that is, conversion from centimeter to meter, meter to kilometer, and meter to decameter. So things like these are taught to our students, and Google Earth is definitely going to play a better role in this. So what I did, I took five monuments of India. The dimensions were written in front of them. As you can see, it is being presented on the screen. So it is a alternative to PowerPoint. So it looks like this in your classroom. So the first that we took up was the Taj Mahal. So if you see, a pin is presented at Taj Mahal, and the units are written for Taj Mahal. The height is 72 meter. Moving ahead, we the next part we have India Gate. The height is provided, and this way the students are going to be in awe when the images of these monuments are going to pop up into their screens. And all the images are taken, once all the images are taken, then we can move to the last segment where a Google form can be attached and students can type in their results, and as that, a assessment exercise can be taken up with the students. So this way, Google Earth can be integrated into your classroom. It is a free application, and you can create wonderful lesson plans into your classroom. You can create area perimeter, you can create volume, and as I said, the possibility is endless. Now with this, I would like to invite my co-presenter Divya ma'am to take further the next two tools.
Thank you so much, Kaushal. And I myself am in awe looking at all the wonderful monuments that I could see on my screen, not just popping up as pins, but actually being marked on the world map. I was able to see them. And as an adult, if I was in awe, I'm sure the students will surely love it. Well, moving on to the third tool that we are going to put forward to you today, which is Pixton. Now, Pixton is a free to use tool. A version of it is free. Why should one use Pixton? Pixton gives us the opportunity to provide to our students personalized learning. They are able to get a platform where they themselves can choose the way in which they would want to express their learning to us. It helps in storifying any concepts. Now, I'm sure all of us, right, since our childhood years, have learned listening to, enjoyed listening to stories. So uh, this particular tool really helps students with the help of stories. They can put across their learning. The teachers can use it to build interest and engagement in the class, and also to solve real life mathematical problems. So like I said, there are three different ways in which Pixton can be used. introduction, in problem solving, as well as in recapitulation. Let's take a look into some examples the way I used it in my classroom, beginning with introduction. Now, here, the example that you're looking at, this is a comic strip, a story that I've created to introduce the chapter surface area in my classroom. Now, here the teacher is talking to the student and she is discussing with them that if she wants to renovate the classroom, if she wants to put across different colors to the walls, change the tiles, then she doesn't know how much of money or budget does she require to do that. And she's discussing it with her kids in the classroom. She's seeking their help, to which the kids first ask her that, exactly what do you want to renovate and what do you want to do into the classroom. Only then we will be able to help you with it. The teacher then explains in detail what all she's thinking about. She's thinking about painting the walls in bright colors, changing the tiles on the floor, and to which the child then says that, I feel that this is something related to area. So without the teacher actually giving in the name of the chapter, she by creating a story, actually put across this entire concept, the concept of the chapter, in front of the students. So this is a great way, not just with this particular chapter, but with any other chapter in mathematics or in any other subject. We can create a setup with which we can actually discuss about the chapter. We can bring the students thinking about that particular chapter or concept in the classroom. Next is problem solving. So often, when we give problems to students, especially word problems, they really hate doing it. But this is a very, very interesting way of having them give across their solution to a word problem. So here in this particular problem, the problem that is being posed to the students is that there is a restaurant owner and he wants to know whether he is running the restaurant in profit or in loss, to which he seeks help from his accountant Kritika, and they are then into a discussion as to how many customers visit his restaurant in a week, how much is his expenditure in the week, and Kritika slowly helps him find out that he at the end of the week is in a profit of 3,50,000 rupees. Now, not just using Pixton, but like Kaushal sir has talked about Adobe Spark, so we can actually app smash both these apps, Pixton and Adobe Spark, and create beautiful videos out of the Pixton slides, the Pixton story snippets that we create. So here I'm going to show you one such video.
Real-life problems are fun to solve when done using technology. We have one such problem today where a restaurant owner is trying to find out if he is into profit or loss. He seeks help from his...
So here you can see that my own voice has been recorded, and in the similar manner, children can also record their own voices and put across their own thoughts. So a teacher actually gets to know what is the thought process with which the student has been able to solve the problems that have been put across to them. Moving on to the third, which is recap. So I use this particular app to recap the chapter of 3D shapes. So here a situation I gave to my students, and this has been created by one of my students only. I gave them that, you have to think of a situation in which you can tell me everything that you've learned in this particular chapter. So they created the situation on themselves. So this particular student has created a situation where a father is talking to two of his children and trying to find out what they have learned in school and how much do they know about 3D shapes, in particular their faces, vertices, edges, what examples can they give from the real life about these shapes. So all that they've learned in that particular chapter has been brought to me, everything that the child has learned in his own way of expression. So that's the beauty of Pixton, that we can actually put forward the plethora of opportunities in front of our students, letting them choose their own ways and means in which they would like to express their knowledge with us. Moving on to the last app that I'm going to talk about, which I think is a favorite of all of us being in love with Google. So Google Sheets, and generally Google Sheets or the Excel is thought of an app which is used to do calculations. I also always used to think so, but like I mentioned in the beginning, I love integrating art in my classes, and that is one thing I believe puts in a surprise element, puts in a fun element into a maths class. So I decided to try and use Google Sheets to add fun, to add art, and yet teach them some bit of mathematics in my classroom. Let's see how I did it. But before that, why using Google Sheets? So like I said, it again gives a personalized learning experience to the students. It helps build creative thinking, especially with the activity that I'm going to show you. Definitely builds engagement and interest, and like I said, helps you bring art into your classroom. So here is a glimpse of an activity of a art piece created by one of the students. And how did I did this? With a simple feature of the Google Sheet, which is called conditional formatting. So we all know how formatting is done in Google Sheets, and this simple feature of conditional formatting is what I used to actually help my children create beautiful art pieces. Now, how is this conditional formatting done? I'll show you. What I did was that I color coded. I went to the conditional formatting rules, and with each number, so that if I type each number in a box, a particular color appears in the box. So I first squeezed in the sheet to form a grid, and then I color coded all the numbers from 0 to 9, so that each number represented a specific color. And then I shared the copies of those sheets with my students. I told them to make a copy and then move ahead to create their own masterpiece. And students created wonderful, it was just so much fun for them. And the whole idea of trying to do art on the computer without actually using colors was not thought about by the students. They couldn't believe that they could actually do something like this. And there was no mess. There was no, if they went wrong, it was a simple delete, click back. They had to go backspace and they had to remove it and then do it again. So it was as simple as that. Once these objects were created, then I decided to incorporate area perimeter. So whichever objects they created, I asked them to find out the area and perimeter of those particular objects. You can see an example here. So a sand clock was created by one of the students, and then I told him to find out, okay, what is the area of the sand clock and what is the perimeter as per you. Another way that I decided to use this was for fractions. So fractions is another important thing that children learn over classes, all the classes in middle school. So this particular activity actually helped them have fun with fractions. So once they created a particular art, they were told to find out what is the different color fractions in the art that they've created, and if they were to change it somehow, how would they do it? What different colors could they add, or how could they reduce a particular fraction, or how could they increase a particular fraction? So all those kinds of mathematical questions were thrown onto them, were given onto them, and they were asked to find out solutions to all of these with the help of this beautiful art activity on Google Sheets. Well, that kind of brings us to the end of what me and Kaushal wanted to talk with you today. But I think that with 4 of these tools setting in, it is really, really important for teachers to understand that each tool has their own uniqueness. Right, Kaushal?
Right, ma'am. Even you have been using your tools, and I have been using my tools into my maths classroom. But what about the listeners who are listening us? Is there any which way we can help them out to understand what to look into a tool when they are searching in the market?
Kaushal, exactly for your question, I have a beautiful image to be shown.
This is
I believe.
exactly what we are doing. This is exactly, ma'am. You are super. Please carry on.
So I think this is exactly what each teacher is facing today. The market is flooded with tools. And if you see in the picture, it is all of us carrying that trolley in our hands and moving through the plethora of tools that are available in the market. Sometimes, failing to decide and understand which one will go best for our set of students. So it is very, very important for us to understand that the tool that we use should be age appropriate for our students. It should be user friendly as per their age, and it should be able to bring about that visualization which is required when you're using a tool. The utility of the tool should not just be to use a tool, but it should actually bring about the essence and concept of the subject that we are teaching. Then is the true meaning of being able to use a tool. With that, I would like to move on to some pointers that we have for you, which will help you remember and find out the right tool for you.
So, as ma'am said, that these are some of the pointers which we like to talk about effective use of visuals. So, whenever looking for a tool, please find out whether it is having a effective use of visuals. Is it age appropriate and user friendly? Is it having the potential to create a better learning environment? And most importantly, maths is all about application. Does it has the ability to develop higher order thinking skills? So keep these points in mind while looking for a technological tool. With this, now I and ma'am are open to Q&A.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Divya ma'am. Thank you so much, Kaushal sir. This was really, really interesting. And, you know, I mean, I'll need a minute to start speaking also because I'm just so blown away. Uh, as you said, we had one question in the chat box. I'll talk about that first and then we'll come to our discussion. There was this question about is Pixton a tool which can work with mobiles handset? Is that a possibility or is it just a web browser?
It's a web browser. It's not available as an app.
Okay. So I'm really sorry. Who I think Dr. Vishal asked this. So, sir, no, it's not a mobile application. So, anybody with any other questions and any other comments, any other suggestions, most importantly, can please tell us in the chat box. However, you're joined with us, you're joined with us through YouTube or Facebook. Please let us know because I have a lot of ideas as they were discussing. I started planning my next session that okay, I'll do this activity with this thing, I'll do this activity. And of course, the very, actually the most important point you mentioned was this is something we have all been struggling with. Okay, that certain teacher is using this tool, so let me also use it. I should also use it. That's not true. You have to look at your own students. Most importantly, you have to look at your own situation. It's not necessary to use each and every tool which is there in the market. You have to you have to recognize which one works for you. You have to put in that effort and you have to put in that time to make sure that it works for you and your students, of course. So yes, anyone with any suggestions, let us know. I can see Sangeeta ma'am is back. Sangeeta ma'am, I had fun and I am ready with a lot of activities for next session.
Perfect, perfect. Because I feel that, as a maths teacher, when we think about using technology, although, people have tried many a ways of bringing a lot of variety in their classroom, but somehow or other, there is a certain kind of a reluctance, or because it is a fact that maths is something that you have to do to learn, but it
Right.
is not always that you have to solve the problems to learn maths. You can learn maths in a very different ways, and I'm thankful to both Kaushal and Divya for showcasing such innovative ideas which are actually universal. They can be used. These tools can be used for many other subjects as well. But just to give a glimpse of that to the math faculty, that you can use it as well. It's not that Google Earth is something which is unique to geography. It is something that can be used by maths and science teachers as well. Adobe Spark, again, we have been
Lovely.
creating a lot of posters, content, but how have I used it for maths? That was something, definitely a question mark. So there are subject specific tools. Maths is blessed in many a ways because it has its own set of tools like GeoGebra, one of the favorite for all. Desmos is now winning in all ways. I mean, every day I come across one good use of that, which I'm saving again, as Vibha is saying. We are saving these things for our future use, because this is the time when there are resources being shared very, very generously. So, the picture that you ended up with, Divya, there, that was excellent, because that is a message for all the teachers. Do not just get overwhelmed by the resources, tools, and ideas that are being shared all across. Pick and choose what works for you. So definitely that is a way to go forward. I also have now Sanchita joining us to bring us another perspective, because she is a social science teacher, right? So when you look at a social science teacher and a maths presentation, where do these match up? Where is the connect happening? Is there something that you picked up from this conversation today?
Yeah, so hi again, everyone. And, I was very intrigued when we heard that, Kaushal was going to walk us through Google Earth and how that can be used for maths. I was like, thinking, okay, there'll be some triangulation, trying to locate some places and distances maybe being measured, though that's a possibility. But I thought what I liked was, an activity as simple as identifying certain historical monuments, which children are so familiar visually, and then to give them certain dimensions to convert, into maybe from meters to decameters, and so on and so forth. So concept clarity, uh, like for example, decameter we hardly use, like it's millimeter, centimeter, and kilometer. A decameter I remember only using it in theory in school, and that's about it. But to perhaps bring in these lesser known mathematical concepts in a layperson's life like mine, this idea, this knowledge would then stick so much longer. And also bringing in this what do you say, interdisciplinary angle to teaching learning as well. And as both Divya ma'am and Kaushal of course told us, that let's not get overwhelmed with the number of tools that are available to teachers. I mean, of course this is a very happy time to be living in as a teacher, that you have so many powerful tools at your fingertips. But also to identify the right ones. And for me, as Sangeeta ma'am said, of course maths is also lucky in a way that they have very specific tools meant for their subject. Like for instance, someone like me, I remember starting out my journey in the edtech world, feeling very disappointed that there's nothing for history. At the most I'll have some timeline builder, but I can build timelines using anything else. But over the years, when one sees open-ended, creation tools like Spark, Google Sheets, for example, it is such an open-ended tool. You can use it for anything. I mean, who would have thought you could make a rangoli or a greeting card out of Google Sheets? I mean, and I know, and Rupali knows how terrified I used to be of Google Sheets when I first started out. And yes, and this whole design thinking concept, bringing in problem solving that is brought in, again Spark being a very powerful collaborative tool as well. You can have a group of students collaborating to create something at the end of that learning journey, or even during that learning journey. So yeah, open-ended tools are something that have emerged as super powerful means. And I'm so glad that you didn't talk only about specific mathematics tools, because then I wouldn't have attended. I would have just told Sangeeta ma'am that you keep me out of this. But when I heard it was Google Earth, Spark, Pixton, and I thought, well, these are worth looking at, not only from a maths perspective, but also from the perspective of a teacher who teaches anything else. It doesn't have to be a particular subject.
Yes, and not to miss the showcase by Divya, on Google Sheets, use of Google Sheets
Yeah.
for art integration. So conditional formatting, I mean, there are umpteen possibilities with Google Sheets, but conditional formatting is a blessing in many a ways. And to use that with art is definitely a must try for all. It's great fun. It's great fun, and the thrill that children get just when the colors start appearing, they can. It's like those old time images where you will join the dots and you will get an image created. Here they will just have to maybe give them some problems to solve, and they can put their answers in the boxes, in the cells, and they will have the colors coming up. So that is thrill. But I also like the idea that as the image is created, you are trying to bring in perhaps the use of area and perimeter concept. So you want children to calculate area, perimeter. That also is an extension of that. So absolutely must try for all. And of course, how you do that, how you create, is something, I we have not focused on this session, because I know that some of you would be saying, how do I create such Google Sheets? So we would like to, considering that, as we all have been talking about, resources are everywhere. Go and look for it. There are so many blogs and so many edtech experts, and not so much as an expert, but people who are actually using and creating. They're sharing their ideas. We would try maybe in the future to focus on each of these apps, not with the basic level, but well, a level up. So we've been planning to bring up these sessions, monthly sessions on do more. So I'm again reminded of that. We have to focus on that. So we will be focusing on perhaps in one of the
Yeah,
sessions.
more like,
do
step by
more.
step tutorial,
Yeah.
when perhaps, the audience who's with us today and will join us in future will probably go step by step with, the presenter. And, at the end of the session, then you have something to take home,
Yes, absolutely. But today also, I think it's been excellent, and because there are, if they don't know exactly how to, they can search for it. That's not a problem. But I hope the audience has got inspired to try these possibilities, and not put a block against, saying that, oh no, I teach maths and I can't touch Google Earth. I can't use that. So that is something I think should be the takeaway from today's session, right?
Right.
So,
I have one more point, Sangeeta ma'am.
yeah, please.
I mean, congruence, Kaushal sir, congruence was something I used to love as a child, but I struggle as a teacher. So I've heard a lot of other teachers struggling with congruence. I will be reaching out to him for this activity. Congruence is actually something we really need to explore properly, and I love that activity which you had using Adobe Spark. So thank you so much for that idea.
Yeah, and we are also getting good response from the audience who is watching it either on Facebook or YouTube. So thank you to everyone who tuned in today to watch this session for us. And of course, thanks to all those who will perhaps watch this recording, which will be available on the GEG channel on YouTube, GEG Delhi NCR channel on YouTube. And of course, if you are a member of our Facebook group, then you would be able to watch this recording as well. So please do, this is a request to all who would be maybe visiting us later, do register yourself, join us either on WhatsApp or Google group. Also, keep a track of us on Twitter and Instagram. We do announce and we do try to keep ourselves active on all these platforms, so that we can reach out to you and share certain great ideas, just like what Divya and Kaushal have brought today. So with that, I'm ready to wrap up, unless we do have any other questions coming up in the chat. I'm going to take a quick look at that in case I have missed out any. But wonderful session is the feedback that we are getting from the audience who are tuned in with us right now. So thank you so much to our presenters, Divya and Kaushal, for joining us, and all those who have joined in the live session as well. Hope that this session has inspired you to talk Adobe Spark, Pixton. That's something I have not tried at all. I need to look up that. Google Sheets, absolutely a must try with conditional formatting. And we are looking at, of course, Google Earth. So don't keep these blocked away in terms of where they are, whether they are geography or history tool, but take them to your classroom and use them as they fit best. Right? With that, I'm going to wrap up today's session, and hope to see everyone back again soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone. And I
Bye.
and Divya ma'am, we both thank GG Delhi NCR for this opportunity. And to all the listeners and the watchers who have been patiently listening us. So thank you to all the educators and thanks to the team of Delhi GG NCR. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All
Thank you
the
so much,
best.
ma'am.